This is Don Gordon with the South Carolina Division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. If you're a male descendant of a Confederate soldier, we're calling up your unit. Join our historic honor society, and I would invite you to attend a meeting of your local camp. You can contact us at scv.org or 1-800-MY-SOUTH. Rally to us, men, while you still have rights to protect. Join the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I want to welcome everybody back to the Radio Free Dixie Show. I'm Don Gordon. We've got a caller on the line. Robert, come on and tell us what's on your mind.
Don, is Larry there today?
No, Larry's out on other missions somehow.
Oh, okay. Well, I enjoy it either way, whether it's just you or you and Larry. This is I'm your doctor friend from North Augusta.
Oh, hey, Robert.
Yeah, I wanted to personally say I enjoy the tapes that I get every week, and encourage everyone who's listening to, if they haven't, to please join the Colonel's Club, because that it helps us out to learn all the information and helps you out too. And so the program's just fantastic. I wanted to ask you, make one comment about, if I can, quickly,
sure,
on the Newberry College change of mascot.
Please do.
Am I allowed to do that?
Oh, yeah, please. We got plenty of time here.
Okay, because I'm not listening on the radio. I just called, and I'm an hour away. But just to kind of, I remember one fellow who was against that said that these people were just being politically correct and they didn't want to offend anyone. But that may be their consideration. But I think they do end up offending quite a few people. They offend me, and they offend people, I guess, who have a thinking the way I do. Certainly, I'm part Native American. I have ancestry, and many people in the South do. And I believe that the people who think that they're doing anybody a favor, they're just grossly misleading us. But that aside, I think that we just need to, if possible, if you can get me an address, or I guess I could just call Newberry College and register my complaint.
Yeah, it'd probably be better to write them a letter, because then they'd probably have to respond. And I do want you to know, a couple of weeks ago, we got into that, and I agree with you completely. As a matter of fact, I said that, next year they're not even going to have a mascot, and I recommended them that they take a cue from the University of South Carolina, and maybe they could be the Newberry Chickens. And I also made the point that when men cave in to political correctness, they not only give up their rights, but they embolden the enemy to take rights from other people, and it's like appeasement. It doesn't work. If you give a bully at the schoolyard your lunch money today, he's going to want it every day. And they had a very good position because, they were just the Newberry Indians. They weren't doing anything derogatory. They didn't have a derogatory emblem. And I also am part Catawba Indian, and I can tell you that I felt like it was just a testament to the pride of the Indian Braves, and I was very disappointed. And the only stick that the NCAA was holding over their head was that they wouldn't be able to hold championship events at their home field. And Newberry's a very good school. They have good athletic traditions, but, over a 10-year period of time, how many times do they win a championship? I think Newberry College would have been better off to give up a championship on their home field just to keep their pride. And Robert, I also want you to know that we got your letter that you gave towards our caller and listener, Ed. And we read that letter in its entirety on the radio a few weeks ago. I may not have sent out that CD because
yeah.
Good.
I just got that in. In fact, I haven't finished listening to the tape. I appreciate it. I didn't particularly send it in to be read, but I think, hey, if Ed wants to contact me, give him my phone number.
No, we're not going to give your phone number. We're not going to give your phone number out. But no, I thought that you made such good points. I thought you just hit it right on the mark, and I thought that it needed to be heard not only for Ed, but for anybody else that may feel like he feels. And I really appreciate your kind words, and I do want to know that everybody know that the Colonel's Club, you can get CDs of the show, and it really only costs $7 a week. I know that that's a commitment, but when you think about the cost of making the DVDs and the time and the postage and the, it's a semi-permanent way to get the thoughts and the true history of the South out there. And I like to think that every week we try to cover a little something that'll make you think about the bravery of the Southern soldiers.
One last point, then I know you got a lot of other stuff
go ahead.
to cover. You had also mentioned the black Union soldier who wanted to help out the fellow that they wanted to hang. Now, if it's the same one I'm thinking about from Hamburg,
that's him.
His last name was Rivers.
Thank you for telling me, because I had forgotten his. So his name was Pride Rivers. Is that right?
I am not sure what his first name is. I've just always heard that. Well, I probably could go back through my notes, but I do remember that his last name was Rivers.
Well, I do appreciate you mentioning.
Legislature, during that period of time after the war, I don't know a heck of a lot about him, but I just know the superficial part right now.
Well, he was a magistrate from that area, and that's the one that they tried to file the complaint with down there that later led up to the situation that's known as the Hamburg riot. Of course, it wasn't really a riot.
There's a statue here in North Augusta to the young man that got killed over there. His last name is Merriweather. As you come in into North Augusta, right where the divide between the street coming from the west side, there's a huge mansion there, and right out front there's a park, and there's an obelisk there with his name on it, Merriweather.
I'm glad you told me that. I actually was down in Augusta, Georgia, not North Augusta, but the next time I'm in North Augusta, I'm going to make a point to go see it because, that was a period in our history where things were very uncertain and maybe even more tenuous than the war in terms of what would happen. And, in our country today, we're once again on a very tenuous footing, and we're in a period of time in our history where we need to be strong and we need to do things right, because the future is not guaranteed that it'll be better than the past. And, we've got to be brave and we've got to stand by our convictions.
Exactly. Well, I'll let you go, and I appreciate your time. I'll try to call again, and if you're over this way, give me a buzz.
Thank you very much, Dr. Robert, and I appreciate your call, and thank you for your kind words.
Okay, thanks, Don.
Yes, sir.
Good.
I want to get back to the thought I was on about people from the South. Even if you don't know you had a Confederate ancestor, if your parents and maybe your grandparents were from the South, even one of them, you've got a Confederate ancestor. Nobody sat that war out. And we have a research committee that can help you find out about your ancestors. I used to serve on the research committee at the Wade Hampton camp. And let me tell you, it's extremely satisfying to go in there and discover things that you did not know about your ancestor. And I can tell you that when people talk to me about their Confederate ancestor, they'll say, well, this is what I heard, but I don't really know if it's accurate. And what I discovered by serving on the research committee, that all these things that are handed down, they're almost all true, because, even though we weren't alive at that time, it's only like a couple of 3 or 4 generations back, and that's not very long in the real scheme of things. Humans are a temporary thing, and the history is a permanent thing. And so if you heard something about your ancestor serving, he did that. I still remember a good friend of mine named Darby. He told me that he'd always heard that his ancestor served with John Hunt Morgan, which was a high praise to have served with him. And we looked it up, and sure enough, he was captured in Ohio. And another time, I think for a battle brief, maybe even next time, I'll talk about John Hunt Morgan's raid into Ohio, because it was truly a bold move, and it took a man to be on that trip with him. But backing up to the Sons of Confederate Veterans, last week at the Wade Hampton camp, we had 7 new members. Donnie Rabin, who called in just a few minutes ago, and he's the commander of the Chester camp. He actually has personally recruited 4 men so far this year, and he got a recruiting award from the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And it's available to members who recruit people, and it's a couple of different historically accurate pre-war between the states militia patches that are made up like palmetto trees, and they're made up with gold thread and gold sequins. And I've got a friend that's got one of the originals actually framed, and we placed one of these replicas up next to it, and it is absolutely historically correct, right down to the last sequin placement, and they were handmade in Pakistan. And I would encourage any Sons of Confederate Veterans member to try to recruit the people so that you'll be in the Palmetto Guard, as we're going to call it, because when the sesquicentennial comes around, which will start December 20th of 2010, you're going to be glad that you're in that. And while we're talking about 2010, the National Convention will be held up in Anderson that year, and I can't tell you the name of the groups that are going to perform, but if you'll picture the biggest names in country, Western-type music, I guess you would term it, they're going to be there. Not just one group, but it's going to be the most unbelievable concert. It's going to be the biggest names in entertainment, and you can actually attend that concert even if you're not a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And our national convention is coming up in July up in Concord, North Carolina. It's an election year, and I don't really know the number of delegates that'll be there, but if I were to give an estimate, there'll be 1,400 just delegates, not counting their wives and not counting people that are there to sell things or make presentations. And when one of these conventions comes to a city, it brings a huge financial impact in a positive way. I've been trying to get a hotel room up around Concord, and it now looks like I might have to go back into Charlotte just to find a hotel room that's anywhere close, because they're all booked up that weekend already. And I would encourage any member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans to try to attend the National Convention. You meet compatriots from other parts of the country, and I can tell you that South Carolina is a leader, just as it was in the past. And, you know, it's almost odd, but it's true. South Carolinians are a little different than Americans from other states, and we're a little bit more impulsive, possibly a little bit more aggressive, and you know, we lead the way. And I think that goes for not only white South Carolinians, but it goes for African American South Carolinians. And we live here in this state. We live together. We're brothers. You know, we all need to be proud of each other. We need to reach out between the races and try to form bonds, because the future of America is going to require that the black South Carolinians and the white South Carolinians come together as one people. And the island of Jamaica has a good motto: of many, one people. And that's the way South Carolina is. That's the way the United States of America needs to be. And I'll tell you what, the South is the best hope of America. There's no two ways about it. And in the South, South Carolina is the best hope of, you know, the South. And you individually, whoever you're listening to, is actually you're the best hope for South Carolina. But you got to get off your couch. You got to show up at a Sons of Confederate Veterans meeting. We're in the middle of a cultural war, and we need you to show up and do your part with us. And I'll tell you what, you're going to be around people that think like you think, and you're going to be around people that can teach you things about your history that you don't know, and it'll give your children pride to come to our events and discover that there are people that are proud to be South Carolinians. There are people that are proud to be Southern, and that is in no way in any conflict with being proud to be American. Matter of fact, it's as American as it can be. One of the things we need to fight against is the homogenization of American society, where we're all supposed to be alike. You know, viva la différence. You know, it's okay to be you. It's good to be you. It's also okay to be us, and it's also good to have the Southern heritage that we have, and I mean that black or white. If you've got a Confederate ancestor, you need to find out about it. You need to find out what price he paid for the liberty that we have in America today. And we need to protect that liberty, because it is not guaranteed. The future is going to require us to do incredible things. We're going to have to, you know, get a hold on things that right now are out of control, like federal spending and other things. We've got a government that's had its head in the sand too long and avoided the hard questions. But the hard questions are going to have to be dealt with. And I'll tell you right now that America will deal with those hard questions. America will be successful. The South will continue to be the best place in the entire world to live. And we can come together as brothers, but we need to let the NAACP know that their rhetoric is no better than the old rhetoric of the Klan that now everybody realizes was misguided. And this campaign of hate that the NAACP has going on against everything Confederate is the most destructive force we have in this state today. We'll be back in a minute. This is Radio Free Dixie.